Well, hello and welcome back to On the Tee with H&B. I'm DJ Jones, Major Haversham's Lieutenant for Social Media, and today we're kicking things off for episode 2 from the Castle Course at St. Andrews Links, where this morning the ladies from Myakama Golf Club are set to tee it up. In its relatively short history, the Castle has been known to divide a handful of opinions, but as anybody that's played the course will surely attest, it's home to not only some of the finest views in Scotland, but the game of golf as a whole. We have no doubt the ladies from Myakama are going to enjoy it. So before we get to today's interview, we'd like to salute a handful of the field reports that have begun to roll in from this travel season. If you're a member of the H&B forces or just find yourself on a links across the pond, we'd love to see your field reports. Tag us anytime at Haversham Baker across social media. You just might see it on an upcoming episode of On the Tee. So today's interview is with John Farren, General Manager of Ballyliffin Golf Club. Ballyliffin is one of those places that might fly under the radar for some golf travelers, but it's a favorite stop for our members of the forces. We talked to John about why that is, as well as their long-awaited turn in the sun as the host of this year's Irish Open. Have a listen. Well, John, welcome to On the Tee with H&B. Thanks for taking time to join us this morning.
Delighted to join you, Daniel. Delighted for the opportunity.
So how are things on the links today?
It's not the prettiest at the moment, but it's mild enough in your terms. We're about 5 degrees centigrade today. We're hoping for a long, hot summer.
Well, that definitely makes two of us. So before we dive into all things Ballyliffin, John, tell us a little about yourself. How did you come to the club?
Yeah, well, I've been a member here all my life, but I was in Dublin for about 20 years. I was working in logistics, and I married a local girl here, so I didn't have much opportunity, but I had to move home. So luckily enough, the job came up here at the same time. So I got lucky. That was about 14 years ago.
So you're the northernmost golf club in Ireland, which means that for many traveling golfers, you may not always register on their radar, although I suspect that's going to change in a pretty big way here come this summer. We'll get into that more shortly. But for those who are unfamiliar, tell us a little more, if you will, of the story of Ballyliffin.
Yeah, as you say, we're on the northernmost coast of Ireland. We're actually in the Republic of Ireland, but our closest neighbours would be Portrush, Portstewart. So we're on a good track of courses right along the north coast that have really come to the fore over the last 10 years or so, particularly now with Royal Portrush hosting the Open Championship next year in 2019. We've staged 2 Irish Opens in recent years with Royal Portrush in 2012 and Portstewart last year in 2017. So the focus of Irish golf has really changed, and the whole dynamic is moving north, with Royal County Down being ranked number 1 in the world, Portrush being on the Open rota, and so many Irish Open courses now being on this coast. So we see the link between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland has been, critical to development of this region as a hub for the best golf, links golf in the world, and certainly we do see the focus changing from the traditional sort of destination, which would have been the southwest of Ireland, and that goes back to the days of the Troubles, which are long behind us, thank God. But traditionally, that would have been the route for most North American visitors to go south for links golf down there. But thankfully now we are getting our moment in the sun, and we're taking every advantage. And obviously, staging major tournaments is part of shifting the focus to the north coast, and obviously working closely with Portrush, Portstewart, Castle Rock, Rosapenna, Port Salin, all the great links courses up here on the north coast, which are in close proximity to one another. We are really establishing this as a hub for international visitors to come in to stay in Derry or in Donegal, and really hub and spoke to some of the greatest golf courses on earth.
Well, the rising tide lifts all boats, as they say, and certainly the proximity to Portrush and County Down has helped. But come this summer, Ballyliffin gets its well-deserved and long overdue turn in the sun as the host of the Irish Open. Tell us a little about the preparations and how things are coming along, and what hosting the event means to the club and the local area.
Yeah, this is huge for the club, but more so for the area. It really gives Donegal an opportunity to shine on a world stage. We're expecting 100,000 visitors, going into almost 500,000,000 homes worldwide with the TV coverage. So it's a huge opportunity to showcase the region and obviously Ballyliffin Golf Club in particular. We have two courses here, the Old Links and Glashidi Links. The Irish Open, the Dubai Duty Free Irish Open, I should say, is being staged on Glashidi Links, the more modern of the two links that we have here. But both courses have staged European Tour events in the past. The Irish Seniors Open was staged on the Old Links in 2008, and that was really seen as a precursor to us getting the Irish Open, and that's 10 years in the waiting. So we have bided our time. As you say, we have a lot of people would have said that it's long overdue, but listen, we realize we're not at the center of the universe, and people do have to make a commitment to come this far. But with the proximity of all those wonderful golf courses that are our neighbours, we do feel that this destination is now becoming more and more attractive to the international visitor and more accessible with improved flights and from the entire North America. So yeah, it is our opportunity to shine. Preparations are ongoing. We've been preparing for this for probably 15 years, but the more recent preparations, we've added some length to the Glashidi links. It's now standing at almost 7,500 yards. It's in tip-top condition. We could probably stage the Irish Open tomorrow if the weather permitted, but we'll wait for the sunshine to come in July. As I say, we're expecting 100,000 visitors, so it really is a huge opportunity for us to showcase what we have and put us on the world stage where we believe we belong.
Well, Ballyliffin promises to put on quite a show, and we look forward to the rare opportunity to see it on the small screen on this side of the pond. So, as is the case every year, a number of our members of the forces are heading your way. Some are set to play the old course, some are playing the Glashidi. We have some that are even playing both. For those who might be counting down the days until their expedition, give us a compare and contrast, if you will, of the two courses.
Yeah, well, the original course here, the club was started in 1947, was a little 9-hole course, which is actually outside the current boundary of the course. The members got together and bought 5,000 acres in the late 60s, early 70s for 400 acres for a pricey sum of £5,000. So they did well, and they had the foresight to buy enough ground to enable us to build one course initially, the Old Links, which was started in the early 70s. A lot of member involvement in terms of the build. Some architects got involved with it, but it was really only passing interest. And then, of course, we had Nick Faldo arrived at the peak of his prowess in the early 90s, and he made intimations that he might like to build another course and perhaps take over the running of the club for a few years. But the members politely turned him down, but did engage him to upgrade the Old Links following the building of the Glashidi Links in the early 90s. Then the club itself went ahead and built the Glashidi Links under the architectural oversight of Pat Ruddy and Tom Craddock. And the difference really, the Glashidi Links has been built on the higher duneland outside, up and above the Old Links. So, and it's a modern links, rippling fairways, gently rippling fairways, as opposed to the Old Links, which just mown from the ground as it stood. They didn't have the heavy machinery to move ground when the members built the old course in the 70s. So really they just continued mowing and probably a little help from sheep and livestock to keep the grass down. They used to say that they come out at the weekends themselves, the members, and cut the grass. So from humble beginnings, now we have two European Tour standard golf courses, a fantastic clubhouse, and great facilities, practice range, an academy links for the kids, chipping areas, putting areas, a wonderful clubhouse which we've just finished upgrading here, getting in preparation for the Irish Open now in July. So a lot done, but over generations, and thankfully the foresight of our forefathers enabled us to develop to the stage we're at now, where they had the vision to see that buy enough ground that you can develop another course should you need to down the line. And they were looking ahead and thinking of future generations, and we're all very grateful they did.
Well, we touched on this earlier, but Ballyliffin is year after year a favorite stop for our members of the forces, and that's at least partially due to the matches which are often played between our groups and groups of your members. A fabulous time is always had, but it's a pretty unique arrangement. I'm curious what inspired you to make that part of the visitor experience.
Yeah, well, it's there was a willingness there to get involved, to welcome people. Our members are always very proud to, shake the hand of any visitor that comes into the bar or onto the first tee, and there is a welcoming, a genuine welcome there from the members. But that aside, we do realise that we are not yet on the radar in the way that Royal County Down and Royal Portrush are. We will be, but not yet. And we do think that we do have to go that extra yard, an extra mile, to make sure that we put our best foot forward in terms of welcoming. The best ambassadors we can get are the people that actually come here, experience Ballyliffin, and go off and tell their friends about it. And it's important that impression is right. And we have an army of active members who are more than willing to take on the forces of Haversham and Baker when they come to town, and enjoy the crack, as we say in this part of the world. So it's all about it's a bit of fun. It gives your clients something memorable from their trip, something unique. Friendships can be built out of it. They have a meal afterwards, after the round of golf, and it's not all about the golf. It's about the whole hospitality and the whole welcome and the whole the feeling of belonging that people get when they come here. And it is genuine. It's not forced, and the members that get involved are really genuinely enthused and proud to represent their club. Albeit that some of them are a bit too competitive at times, but they do enjoy the sparring with your guys when they come over.
Well, I could tell you that the feeling is likewise. So for those groups that are heading your way, any advice that you'd share as far as how to tackle the links and perhaps what signature moments they should keep an eye out for throughout the round?
Yeah, well, the first thing I would advise is that when people come to Ballyliffin, when you come this far, play both courses. So allow yourself enough time, be that 36 in a day or stay overnight and play both courses, because they are very contrasting, very unique, both very different. And it is critical that when people come this far, they play both courses, because we're probably unique in that both courses, as I said earlier, have staged European Tour events. So they are of a caliber that, a lot of the members prefer the old links. A lot of the visitors prefer Glashidi. It's very much a mixed bag. If you asked 100 people which course they prefer, you'd probably get near enough a 50-50 split. So in terms of signature holes, there's the old links. The signature hole would be the fifth. It's a par 3. It's called the Tank. A very apt name, but it's based on, there used to be a water tank, but the green is perched up about 80-90 foot above the tee, and obviously that was the highest point when they built the original clubhouse way back, and they used to feed the water from there to the clubhouse, so there was a tank up there. But Tank is very much an appropriate name for the hole, because it could make or break a round. You could be up and down the hill trying to get up to the green all day, so it's very picturesque and beautiful. Then later on in the round, you go out right onto the ocean on the old links. So the stretch from 13, 14, 15, 16, really when you're right on the ocean, looking out at Glashidi Rock out in the Pollen Bay, is really spectacular, particularly on a summer's evening where, the shadows are being cast over the rippling fairways. It is something to behold. And the beauty here too is that despite there being 36 holes here, the way the courses are designed, both nines come back both front lines come back to the club so you can have a beer. But that aside, if there is a feeling that you're the only person out there, you feel like you have the course to yourself, even though the course could be absolutely chock-a-block. The design is such that every hole has its own unique surroundings, and there's no crossovers where you're being interfering with other play or anything like that there. So you do feel that you have the place to yourself, and that's something to savor, particularly coming from North America where golf courses can be so busy. On Glashidi, the standout holes would be number 7, a downhill par 3 to a green set beside a lake. It's about a 110-foot drop, but it can play anything from a pitching wedge to a driver with the weather conditions we have here. So that's a stunning hole, and you're up right on top of the highest dune, looking out on the whole 380 odd acres of dune land that we have here ourselves. And there's a lake right beside it. You have wildlife there, and it really is spectacular. And then moving on to the back nine, the par 5 13th would be the signature hole on the back nine, an uphill par 5 that is reachable for the stronger players, but it's really well defended with the typical Glashidi bunkers. Bunkering in links courses in Ireland particularly tends to be pretty deep because otherwise most courses would suffer from sand blow. So the bunkers have to be deep to maintain, to keep the sand inside the bunkers. So that obviously adds, that's where you get the revetted faces from. And these bunkers tend to be, although they might only be 5 yards in diameter, the catchment area that they control probably extends to 50 yards. So there's a bunker in particular at the front of the 13th, which will catch anything that's rolling up short, expecting to creep onto the front of the green. So, a real stunning golf hole. And again, when you stand on the green, you're looking back down out at the ocean with Glashidi rocks staring at you. And it is an iconic image of this part of the world.
Well, you've waited a long time for your turn in the sun, as you said. Naturally, we have to ask, who would you like to see leave Ballyliffin as the Irish Open champion?
Well, obviously, we're hoping for a home winner. I'd like to see Rory as a strong association with Ballyliffin. He's been an honorary member since he was 15. He's played a lot of golf here as a junior and as a young lad. But any of the Irish guys would love to see a home victory. We're hoping for some a sprinkling of stardust from America to come over. That'll be announced in due course, I hope. But as long as we get 5 days of good weather and good crowds, and there's not too much wind, I can see Rory giving it a good rattle, and that would be very, very apt in that this is his last year as being the host of the event. He's passing on the baton on to the rest of the Irish players to take over on an annual basis. So, it'll be a nice finish for his stint at the head of driving the Irish Open and bringing it from oblivion, relatively speaking, from the early 2010-11. It was in danger of dropping off the European Tour circuit, whereas now it's one of the best golf tournaments in the world. It's been part of the Rolex series, Dubai Duty Free, being a sponsor. It's a $7 million purse, so it should attract the top players in the world. And as I say, we're hoping for some North American visitors to come and play in the tournament as well. And we look forward to seeing the pictures being broadcast worldwide and giving people a flavour of Ballyliffin, those that haven't had the opportunity to come here yet. So hoping for an Irish winner, but listen, if the weather's good, everyone's a winner.
Well, John, thanks again for joining us this morning. We're really looking forward to being a part of a memorable year, both for Ballyliffin and our members of the forces that are heading your way.
Thank you very much, Daniel, and thank you to Haversham and Baker for all their support. And we wish everyone a great year and look forward to welcoming everyone back. And we look forward to the member matches, and we'll try and go easier on you this year.
Sounds good. We'll look forward to it. Thank you, John.
All right, Daniel. Thanks.
And a special thanks once again to John Farren for joining us today. If you'd like to keep up with all things Ballyliffin ahead of and during the Irish Open, we suggest giving them a follow on social media. They are at BallyLiffinGC on Instagram, and at Ballyliffin on Twitter. Be sure to join us again next week as we begin a series of episodes from the Highlands of Scotland. But until then, we appreciate you joining us, and we wish you plenty of golf at its finest and life at its best.